welcome back to yet another episode of Ball with Y'all, the Friday edition of our show this week, heading into week 4 of the college football season and the opening race of the round of 12 in the NASCAR sports world. My name is Shawn Johnson. I'm here with Mr. Zach Gray. Zach, how you doing today?
I am doing good. It is hump day. I can see the end of the week and I can see college football NASCAR in front of us. How are you doing, sir?
I am excited for yet another weekend of football. We have so much
Oh,
football these days, and it's honestly, it makes my weeks go a whole lot quicker.
mm-hmm. I'm a big fan. I'm a big
Exactly.
fan.
Exactly. Can't complain. Can't complain. And with that, I think let's get right into our opening segment. Let's crack it open.
Let's do it.
So before we get into the actual games this weekend, Mr. Gray, we did see the SEC schedule released
Yes,
this
sir.
week for the 2023 season. I want to get your thoughts. Anything that stood out as we look ahead to a year from now? I mean, it's crazy. We're still in September. We're looking ahead to the 2023 season.
Yeah, I now know how to play my November next year. So biggest thing I think I saw was the fact that we have so many crossover games happening in late parts of the season. LSU, Florida, November. Georgia, Ole Miss, November. Bama, Kentucky, November. That was the biggest change to me. Some differences where you have LSU playing Arkansas early in the year. You have Auburn playing Georgia in September. That just feels super wrong. But again, that's thanks to Auburn complaining a couple years ago about how hard their schedule is. Now they're an idiot for it. Those are the main things that jumped out. I'm excited. I mean, it's fun to just see the games on the schedule. When you see it, you're like, all right, like I can visualize where I'm going to be at this day, at that time, probably. What times are these games going to be played? So it's cool that the SEC gets their conference schedule out before anybody in the country because, like us, we have the most devoted fans in the entire world, and now we get to think about them for almost a year and a quarter, probably.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And honestly, what's really cool to me is looking at the schedule. Of course, we already knew all the out of conference games that are lined up for all the different teams, but to get to see them actually as part of the schedule and see how it's all built out, seeing that when we knew Florida was going to visit Utah, but seeing how that lays out and how that's going to lay the foundation for their season and how going to not to Provo, where they Salt Lake,
Salt Lake City.
to go to Salt Lake, that's going to determine how their season goes. Tennessee open up against Virginia in Nashville. That's virtually a home game, but
Mm-hmm.
again, another game that will largely determine their season. North Carolina, South Carolina. We don't really get to see that a whole lot, and it's usually lends to be a pretty decent game by the time it's over, right? We get
Yeah,
the rematch in the Hawaii Vanderbilt game this time in Nashville. How many times are you going to see Hawaii and Nashville?
not as much as you think.
No. So it's really cool. And Vanderbilt's going to UNLV week 3, week 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I'm hyped.
It's going to be, and actually looking at, so I missed one thing too. They're going to Wake Forest. So they are opening, here's Vanderbilt's opening stretch.
Mhm.
Home against Hawaii, incredibly tough out of conference game. Alabama A&M, incredibly tough out of conference game at home. Incredibly tough. I think Alabama A&M Aggies. So you know what Aggies are all about.
The
Um,
Crimson Aggies.
the Crimson Aggies. Then going to visit Wake Forest, which we know, I mean, they'll be without Sam Hartman, so we'll see how that works out. And then visiting UNLV in Vegas. That's a tough stretch to open the season.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. Well, first off, I'm excited to see how Vanderbilt finishes this year, first of all. But, and we'll get to their next game here in a minute. But yeah, I mean, just seeing all that, and you can kind of plan out your trips. As someone who tries to rotate every year between going to Ole Miss home game and Ole Miss road game, had Georgia on my schedule. Was thinking that'd be a fun way to kind of start the year going to Athens and checking that environment out. I don't know about going over there in November when we're already dead. But hey, we'll see what happens. That could still be a fun trip.
It will be a fun time. Of course, this is always a good time to remind you and all of our listeners, fall weddings are not allowed in the SEC. We do not
Mm-hmm.
condone fall weddings. It's not good for your mental health to attend or host a fall wedding.
Unless your team's on a bye, then
Yes,
it's
so
slightly acceptable.
exactly. So Zach, I think you can. Was it October 14th or so? You can be off.
Yeah, I could take off. I think that weekend would be good. Yeah, I think it's October 14th. I'll be free.
Okay, plan
So
accordingly. Everyone, be aware. Zach is available October 14th.
I'm already planning. Don't worry.
As far as the team, so I was looking at the different schedules and kind of seeing who has the toughest stretch, and I love to get your thoughts as well, Zach. I was looking at so Kentucky to go into the month of November, October 28th, they have to host Tennessee, then they go to
Mhm.
Mississippi State, host Alabama, and then visit South Carolina. That's one of the toughest 4 game stretches, particularly
Yeah.
that late in the season that I was seeing in the schedules this year.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. There's some ones on there. That Bama stretch too, where they have Tennessee and Arkansas. Like, hello. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Uh and Kentucky and A&M. So I feel like there's a couple. I honestly looked at Ole Miss's schedule first, obviously. They kind of got off light where they only have one road game in a row. They don't have back-to-back road games the entire year. The downside is they play at Georgia and at Alabama, so that'll be kind of rough. But I think I think Alabama has a really hard middle part of the season, kind of an easier end to it. You would imagine at this point, just looking at what's on there. But yeah, I mean, it's a change. I think also this kind of goes into seeing what the SEC is going to be doing when they get Texas and Oklahoma. You have some like new dates in the schedule for some of these games that are typically played at these certain dates, like for instance, Kentucky, Florida. That's week 5 now. It's not week 2. Um, the LSU Florida game being moved around. I think the SEC is trying to like see, okay, once we get these new teams in, where can we start scheduling these games? I feel like it's 2023 is almost like a trial run to see how these new dates are received by the teams and the fans.
And to that point as well, speaking on Alabama, a couple different things. One, I know we were both delighted to see the Alabama Ole Miss game back in September where it belongs.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know why it was in the month of November this year, but whatever. We move on. Also, the first time since the 1890s that Alabama is playing Mississippi State in the month of September.
That's crazy. That's gonna be a hot stretch.
So it kind of reminds me of last year when I said that if Alabama was to walk out of that first 6 game stretch undefeated, I'd be shocked. And of course, they lost that 6th game against A&M. Looking at the first 8 games, I mean, Middle Tennessee, whatever. Texas probably shouldn't be much of a struggle. Then going to South Florida shouldn't be much of a struggle, but still a pretty cool environment. Ole Miss at
Mm-hmm.
home, Mississippi State on the road, A&M on the road, followed by Arkansas and Tennessee at home, all before the
Woo!
bye. That
Woo!
is, they're going to need that bye. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, they're going to be hurting after that game, after that Tennessee Arkansas game, and like Tennessee and Arkansas are only going to get better. I think like they're both trending up right now. I'd be shocked to see those programs slip or slide and up until that point. That's a stretch. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I'm excited to see how that goes. I honestly thought the SEC did a really good job with the scheduling. I think if anything, it builds more excitement too, just seeing these kind of new dates on the schedule, like you pointed out, like with the Mississippi State Alabama game. And yeah, the Ole Miss Alabama game being in September, that game is supposed to be played in the heat. That's not a cold weather game. It just isn't. The uniform doesn't make sense to be played in cold. It just nothing about that clicks. That is supposed to be 90 degrees, sweat your tail off, slugfest. And I'm so excited that's going to be absolutely boiling hot.
And for reference, this year, that game is on November 12th, which is a travesty.
Right. Yeah, don't like that. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna make any predictions on that game yet. We'll hold off on that.
I think you have some time. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, I've already
sure.
made one prediction for the month of November, but that's okay. We'll move on from that. Anyway, any other thoughts on the schedule before we get into the games, Mr. Gray?
No, we're hyped, man. Let's do it.
All right. So, not too many SEC matchups this week. We do have a few. So, we're actually going to start outside the conference, getting into our game picks with a game that is probably near and dear to the heart of Dylan from New Jersey, as his Notre Dame Fighting Irish are going to visit the North Carolina Tar Heels. North Carolina's a 1.5 point favorite, barely favored. The over under 56 points. Zach, what do you have here?
Well, I don't. Man, this is like the game you don't want to pick because you're like, I still don't know who the heck these two teams are. North Carolina seems like such a total fraud at 3-0 because they played absolutely nobody and barely beaten almost everyone. And Notre Dame is not good. Two losses, a squeak out win against Cal. But I think Marcus Freeman has it figured out a little bit more this week than he did last week. So I'm going to roll with Notre Dame covering the 1.5, low scoring, even though North Carolina likes to score a little bit. I think Notre Dame's defense is going to have to slow them down. We're going to go 23-19 Notre Dame. So they cover the 1.5 and the under of 56.
So, stop me if you've heard this before.
Uh-huh.
Notre Dame, not that great of a team.
Right.
North Carolina, Not that great of a team.
Stop. I just said that.
Yeah. North Carolina likes to score a lot of points, but Notre
Oh,
Dame doesn't like to score a lot of points. And to your point, Mr. Gray, I like Notre Dame to win this game. And the only way they're going to do it is if they keep, honestly, if they keep North Carolina from scoring less than 17 or 20 points, which is why I've got them just narrowly beating the Tar Heels, similar to your score, 20-16, emerging victorious, and in some ways potentially saving Marcus Freeman's season.
yeah. I think that if he loses this game, it's like it's already hot. It gets boiling at this point. You got to win this game if you're Notre Dame. This is like a classic Mac Brown loss too.
Well, and then also looking ahead, do you know who North Carolina plays next, my friend?
Enlighten me.
Your Miami Hurricanes.
Ooh.
So back-to-back losses.
Yeah, that 3-0 could be 3-2 pretty quick, I'd say.
Yeah, and I feel like it's warranted. I mean, none of us believe in North Carolina at this point, do we?
No, not at all.
They're not a good program. Well, we'll stay in the ACC for our second pick of the day. The number 5 Clemson Tigers going to visit the number 21 Wake Forest. I always forget Wake. What are they? The Demon Deacons?
Demon Deacons.
That's such an odd mascot.
Which kind of is weird because deacons are in church, but they're demons. So what is that?
It's like a contradiction. They like to stand out, you know?
Mm-hmm. That'd be like the red blue hens.
Uh-huh. Yeah, which probably
Makes no
exist.
sense.
Yeah.
I'm a red blue hen. Yeah, that could make sense. Yeah, sure.
Well, anyway, so this really confusing team is hosting Clemson. The confusing team is a 7.5-point dog at home. The over-under is at 55.5 points. So you got Clemson or Wake Forest.
Well, first off, there's two confusing teams because Clemson doesn't know what they are either.
Fair.
Because why is Clemson ranked 5th?
Because we like to rank teams based on where we think they're going to be and not where they are today.
Correct. But it's wrong.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think this is the week that we figure that out either. So I like Clemson. I got to say that. I like the over. And I like Clemson covering 7.5. I'm going 38-30 Clemson.
Very similar scores, but different results, if you will.
Ooh.
So I've become accustomed in recent years to expect Clemson to lose an early game. Usually late September, early October, and it's against a team that could beat them, but you don't really expect it to happen. Sometimes it's Pitt, sometimes it's NC State, sometimes it's Syracuse. We've seen teams do it where you could see the path, but you didn't really know if it was going to happen. I've seen Sam Hartman do well against an SEC defense that's pretty good in the form of Vanderbilt. I like where Clark Lee's gotten that program, and I think Wake Forest handled it well. Now, granted, they didn't handle Liberty well a week ago, so I'm not saying this with tremendous.
It's the Flames.
It's the Flames and Hugh Freeze for that matter.
Hugh Freeze and the Flames. What's better than that?
So I'm not saying this with tremendous confidence, but I know that the only way that Wake Forest will win this game is if it's a shootout. So I'll say over as well. I'll say Wake Forest finds a way, knocks Clemson off their pedestal, and the Demon Deacons win 38-37.
Okay, so basically almost the Liberty score.
Basically almost the Liberty score. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. I can respect that. Now, we're going to transition to the next game, and I want you to go on record and apologize for what you're about to do to Vanderbilt, because it's completely unwarranted. We're proud of them. They've accomplished so much, and you're going to hurt them a lot, aren't you? So you have Vandy at Bama. Bama is a 41-point favorite, over under 58.5. What say you, Mr. Johnson?
So I look at this game, and it kind of stands as an opportunity to remind people who you are. It's like that clip, like was it Herm Edwards? Like, they were who we thought they were. Was it Herm Edwards that said that?
Yeah. R.I.P. Herm Edwards, by the way.
Yeah, good. He had a good run. And I feel like a lot of people have forgotten who Alabama is lately, even after a blowout win over a lackluster ULM program. People were like, not that impressed. Okay, well, fine. But I look at this game as an opportunity for people to see the Alabama that they've come to expect. Because the problem is the last 2 seasons, they've seen Alabama teams that don't really struggle a whole lot. Yes, you saw them struggle in the Iron Bowl. And yes, you saw them struggle in the national championship game. But generally speaking, they're not really struggling to score a whole lot. And the problem with this Alabama team in particular, they're scoring a lot of points, but their time possession is horrid. So they're scoring quickly, but they can't hold onto the ball and have long drives, which is why people are seeing them as this team that something's wrong with them. Well, maybe they don't hold onto the ball too much, and also they're playing teams that know the need to hold onto the ball themselves to keep the ball away from Bryce and the crew. But now we know Alabama's going to win this game, and we know that they're going to cover, and they're just going to throttle Vanderbilt. I'm going to go over on the points. I'm going to go Alabama covers. I think the score I have here is 56-6, but I want to make a point.
Mm-hmm.
I want people who were so amazed by Georgia running over a lackluster, not that good South Carolina team in the SEC East. I want them to respect Alabama as much as they respected Georgia a week ago when this same result happens.
That can't. Well, the difference between South Carolina and Vanderbilt, I feel like is pretty substantial. No.
Well, one of them is 3-1 today. The other one isn't.
Yeah, but Vanderbilt's played Hawaii, Colorado State, right?
Hawaii, Wake Forest. Was it Colorado State week 2 or week 1?
I thought so. And then Northern Illinois.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean that's a little bit different.
Well, South Carolina struggled against Georgia State though.
Yeah, what's up? Yeah, okay, fine. But okay, so I'm gonna say, oh boy, what was your score?
56-6.
Okay, wow. So I don't think that's gonna happen. Give me. I feel so bad for Vandy. This is going to just crush them. They're going right back to where they were. You talk about reminding people of who you are. Vanderbilt's going to remind people of who Vanderbilt is after this game. Give me Bama 48-10. So over just misses. They don't cover the 41, and they still win by 38.
So I'm fine with that. I do have a question. Looking ahead, where do you see Vanderbilt's next win coming? I mean, they've got you guys next, Ole Miss after a bye.
They could beat us.
I mean, they've got Georgia. Tough game.
Hang on. They play Bama, Ole Miss, Georgia. Oh my gosh. Probably Missouri.
I'd say even South Carolina's within reach.
Missouri and South Carolina will be within reach. If they could pull both of those off and then have to play Kentucky, Florida, or Tennessee for a chance to go to a bowl game, that'd be pretty sweet.
I mean, honestly, a 4-8, 5-7 season for Vanderbilt after the mess they've been the last couple of years is a strong season.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I think Vanderbilt, I mean, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. No stage is too big, says Clark Lee for his quarterback. So we'll see how big of a stage Alabama crushing them is. But
Alabama, I hope you're ready. Vanderbilt's coming for you.
Yeah. I don't know about that. And it's in Brian.
In Tuscaloosa, under the lights.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, but anyway, we move on to a real game, a real matchup. Florida, number 20 in the country, traveling to Knoxville to play those ugly orange garbage man convention uniforms in Knoxville, Tennessee, against number 11 Tennessee. 10.5 points favorite. Tennessee is. Over under set at 62. What do you see happening here?
So I have gone on record multiple times, and I have said, listen, if I was to pick one team in the SEC to look out for this year that could very well go out there, win 9-10 games, it is this Tennessee Volunteers football team. And after we walked out of Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, after week one, when they beat Utah, I was kind of concerned about this game because I said, okay, well, Florida was pretty impressive against a team that I did not expect them to be impressive against. And ever since, Florida has done nothing short of underwhelm and show me that week one was kind of an aberration of what they really are. They're not that good. They were good that night. They had the atmosphere and so on, but this game is happening in Knoxville. They are facing off against an offense that is reaching incredible heights right now. Hendon Hooker is probably, I would say, a top 3 or 4 quarterback in the SEC as it stands right now. I'd say Bryce Young. I'd say KJ Jefferson. I'd throw him in that conversation up there with Stetson Bennett and the crew. And I think Tennessee is going to win this game, and they're going to show once again that they are a contender in the SEC East. I will say that they're going to fail to cover, however, just slightly. I'll go Tennessee wins 36-20, so barely on the over as well. 36-27, sorry. 36-27, Tennessee.
Okay. I said beginning of the year, Florida surprises people. Now they're 3-1. They barely beat USF. Florida money line this week. Florida goes into Tennessee, beats Tennessee. We're going to go Florida 27-21. Lower scoring, under for sure, and Florida covers plus 10.5 and then some. Billy Napier is not going to lose this game. Tennessee is still Tennessee until proven otherwise, and I'm riding with the Gators.
I think Gary and Brad are going to love that result up there in Knoxville.
They would love, yeah. Dude, who wouldn't love that? I love to see Tennessee lose.
I'd like to see Tennessee top 10. I'm looking forward to that.
What, just so you can have another quality win on your record?
Exactly. See, I know I appreciate where you're at. You know, like this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that many steps ahead. This is chess. This isn't checkers. This is chess.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, get them built up there so you can absolutely crush them like the unranked team that they will deservingly be at that time anyway.
Exactly. It reminds me of 2016, honestly. This is what I'm trying to get
Yes.
to.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I get that.
But we'll see. We'll see. We'll keep it in the SEC for our final pick here. Sticking with the top 10 team in the form of the Arkansas Razorbacks coming off of that thriller against the Missouri State team coming in with Bobby Petrino and the gang. They'll be at a neutral site this week, of course, against the number 23 Texas A&M Aggies. A&M is a 2-point favorite in Jerry's world. The over-under is 48 points. What do you got here, Zach?
Arkansas by 1.5 miles. We're going this. It's not A&M's game at all here. This is, I mean, Jerry's world also is Arkansas world too. Jerry is a Razorback, so they got that going for him. Also, KJ Jefferson better than Max Johnson. Also, Arkansas's offense way better than A&M's offense. So we're going to go kind of a stretcher here. We're going to go 31-17. I think Arkansas more than covers +2. Money line, everything. I can't believe A&M's a 2-point favorite. I think that's a total overreaction to the Miami game. So, yeah, and we'll go a push on the over-under.
We love a push on the over-under. So I think this makes the 4th straight pick where we've differed in some way, shape, or form. We agreed on Notre Dame, largely the same score, too. However, I look at this game as Arkansas, they're a good team. They're a great running team. But I've looked at KJ Jefferson before struggle against quality defenses. We know Texas A&M, all they don't have a good offense, but they have a quality defense. And I think this defense somehow, some way can give KJ Jefferson fits. We learned recently by way of South Carolina getting blown out and by way of the Missouri State game that Arkansas isn't really as good as we thought they were. They're still a good team, probably a top 3 team in the SEC West. I don't know who the second team would be at this point in time. It might still be Arkansas, but they're not as good as we thought they were. So I will go against better judgment, and I will ride with the favorite here, the Texas A&M Aggies, to pull it out. And as a result, you're going to love this, Zach. As a result, College Game Day is not going to Fayetteville next week. No, it's going to the Grove for the Kentucky Ole Miss game. I'm calling it right now. There you go. So when it gets announced Sunday, you heard it here first.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm going to go. Yeah, of course, least I could do. See, I'm a giving man.
I agree.
There you go. I'm going to go the under on the total points, 23-20, Texas A&M pulling out the win in Jerry's world.
Okay, Shawn.
There you go. We like to switch it up sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, we have some. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. We got three out of 5 picks we're differing on.
That's pretty awesome. Very rarely will you hear that on Ball with Y'all, so that's pretty cool.
I'm excited. We're doing well.
There you go. Well, I'm sure we'll probably differ a little bit on this next piece. Now, of course, we'll have the segment on the Monday show, but we always have to get into it.
Yeah.
Our dear friends
No.
out in Honolulu, but this week they won't be out there. They'll be actually in New Mexico. The
Las
Hawaii.
Cruces.
What's up?
Las Cruces, New Mexico.
I don't know where that is, but I'm sure it's a nice place.
It's a place in New Mexico.
That sounds about right. As the new, yeah. Anyway, the Hawaii Rainbow Wager Warriors are visiting the New Mexico State Aggies.
See,
Very good. New Mexico State is a 5-point favorite. The over-under is 53.5. Zach, what do you got? You got a prop bet? You got straight up? What do you have here?
I'm dropping 3 bets this week on all the Rainbow Warriors. Okay, number 1, New Mexico State covers 5. Number 2, over hits of 53.5. Number 3, Hawaii, last team to score plus 100. I'm all in. I'm riding it back. We're going to get to – actually, I'm going for a 4th pick. We're going to go longest touchdown over 54.5. I'm going to get to 4-4 on this segment this year. I'm 0-4. We're going clean sweep this week. Nothing could go wrong. I will not be 0-8 on Monday morning. That's my pick.
If you are 0-8, I think we might need to retire this segment come Monday.
I'll quit.
Well, so what am I? I'm 3-1 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. See, when you win, you don't really keep track of it as much. Just kind of like, okay, check. I'm looking at this game. I like to go kind of off the beaten path. I will go the team to score first, not the team to score last. I'll go New Mexico State. I think it was minus 141 or something along those lines. I'll go with New Mexico State to get on the board first. Don't know what that looks like, but I got them pulling it off.
All right. Congrats on the 4-1.
So I will be 4-1, and we'll see where Zach lies come Monday. Hopefully, he's still afloat, mentally and financially.
I'm just in copious amounts of debt to the University of Hawaii.
I mean, maybe it could be like a booster, and at least get some benefit from it.
If I go 4-0 this week, though, and I get to 500, that'd be pretty remarkable.
Everybody, watch out! Hide your wife, hide your kids, because and then all of a sudden I could be 3-2, and then like the whole script could be flipped.
I know.
I never know.
Listen, I just want to win one. I would just want to feel like what it's like to win one of these picks in a segment. So even if I go 1-3 and I'm 1-7 after the game, I'll be happy. At least I finally tasted victory.
The little things here on Ball with Y'all, clearly. Oh man. Well, we'll see how our Rainbow Wager Warriors picks work out on the Monday show. But let's get into our final segment of the day. NASCAR 1 to go.
White flag, next one is it.
So we are getting into the round of 12 in the NASCAR world with a lot of playoff drivers needing a strong start to the round of 12. Zach, we're going to Texas this week. Of course, this first time we've been here since the All-Star race earlier this year. What can our listeners expect at Texas?
Boring race. Not a fun track. Probably the worst track on the schedule. When people are like, all they do is go around in circles, that's literally Texas. Like the stereotypical, like, I don't watch NASCAR because it's boring fan uses Texas as an example as to why they don't watch NASCAR. It is the worst track. However, it's the playoffs. We got a crazy points battle going on. And if you're not hyped up for this race, you're not a real fan. Because this race in this round, as we mentioned on our last show, is so crucial for this round because the races after this at Talladega and at the Roval in Charlotte are complete chaos. You don't know what the hell is going to happen in those. So that's why this race, be it very non-interesting, is going to be I think one of the most pressure-packed races of the year just because of what's after it. So I'm actually pretty excited for it, Sean. How are you? What are your thoughts?
I just hope that Ryan Blaney can keep his window net up this time.
Good joke.
That's all I want in life, and I also wouldn't want the race to get delayed forever and to get run, multiple hours late.
Wednesday.
Yeah, that would not be preferred. But
well, it was 2020 here.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not unprecedented to see some wacky things happen here in Texas.
No, and it's going to be hot. This is the first time this race has ever been run in September. It's been running October. It was predominantly running November for a while. Dallas, Fort Worth in September, hot.
This is like Mississippi State, Alabama in September. It's unprecedented, and you don't know what's going to happen.
You don't.
No?
Yeah, I really don't know what to expect for the race, just because the only race we had here was in the All-Star race this year with the new car. And there were so many like fluke wrecks in that too. I mean, Kyle Busch looked great, blew a motor. Ross Chastain drives on top of him, nails Chase Elliott right after Kyle Larson wrecks as well. So those four guys were great, but none of them finished the race. So I don't really know who's good here. No one does. So I'm excited just because of the unknowns of this race, not exactly for the racing itself, but seeing where the points land after the race is going to be very intriguing to me.
So getting into our predictions for the race, I'll go first so that you can make sure you got the right one, Mr. Gray. I look at this race, and we've had 3 straight non-playoff drivers win a race in the NASCAR playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We saw Eric Jones do it, then we had Bubba, and most recently we had Chris Buescher, or as Dale Earnhardt Jr. would say, Christopher Buescher.
See,
I'm going to go for the ironic pick here. In 31 career races, this man has won 4 times at Texas. He's got 14 top 5s and 18 top 10s. So I'll say once again, we're going to have another week where a guy that is not in the playoff race anymore wins. I'm going to go with Kyle Busch to come out on top, even with the hand-me-down pit crew from Denny Hamlin.
I like it. That's a strong pick. Oh man. I think it's going to be a Ford this week. And that's why I'm rolling with Joey Logano. I think that 22 finds victory lane again. Penske was fast here at the All-Star race. Obviously, way different situation coming back here in the playoffs and whatnot. But I do like Joey Logano to go out there and win and secure his spot into the round of 8, which brings us to our next point. Do we have picks for our eliminations this round? We did it before the playoffs started, so we got to do it again with our new round here. Let's pull up the points here, because this round we can't get anywhere. I mean, I literally had one correct pick the first round, so we can only get better, right? We can't go 0 for 4.
Well, I mean,
we can. I could go 0 for 4 with Hawaii, so I could go 0 for 4 with NASCAR playoff predictions as well. If you want, I'll get us started here.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so the first guy getting eliminated, I think, is going to be Chase Briscoe. I know I picked him to get eliminated in the first round. He got through, and Fords might have some speed this week at Texas, so who knows? But I think Chase Briscoe goes home. I think Alex Bowman joins him. I also think William Byron joins him. And I'm going to say, man, it's hard. Let's see. So, Bowman, Byron, Briscoe. I'm going to say the bad luck bug strikes Christopher Bell. And I think we're going to have some surprises with Daniel Suarez and Austin Cindric getting in to the round of 8. Suarez has the speed of Texas to compete, stays out of trouble at Talladega, and that road course car has been great for him this year. And Cindric, great at Talladega, in a Ford at Texas, which I think is going to be good, and great at road courses. So I'm going with 4 Bs to get out of there. Briscoe, Bowman, Byron, and Bell all get eliminated this round.
All the Bs, actually, in the playoffs still.
It just feels right.
Well, except for Blaney.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, so 4 of the 5. I mean, you couldn't get all of them, so you got
that.
the easy pickings.
Snip that.
So I look at Austin Cindric. We know has speed at super speedways, so I think he'll probably do well, especially at Talladega next week. So I'm not gonna pick him. Mi amigo Daniel Suarez. I know Trackhouse has speed at the Roval, but the problem is you have to get to that point in time and be in a positive position at that point in time. which we saw Tyler Reddick, which he was going to have a good run, and then he had an issue, right? And generally speaking, you can't have one really good race and two not great races. So I'll
Right.
go Daniel Suarez to somehow get eliminated. I've said it before. I mean, I don't expect all four Hendrick guys to get up there in the final eight. So unfortunately, my dear friend Alex Bowman, he says he likes Alabama, so it's hard for me to pick him to get eliminated here. But I'll go Alex Bowman. I just don't understand how Briscoe's still in there. I don't know how
Yeah.
he pulled it out at Bristol, but he
Yeah.
did. But I'll lean that he'll get eliminated. And lastly, I mentioned it on the Monday show as well. This man has caught himself into so many bad situations. He got himself in a bad situation throughout the season with so many guys who hate him, and I'm conflicted because I want to pick one guy, but my heart and my head, so my heart's over here, my head's over here. I'm gonna go with Ross Chastain
Oh
to
no.
to somehow, I don't know how, because some of his enemies have already been eliminated, but that doesn't mean they won't do anything. So we'll see. But between him and Blaney, I'm really conflicted. But I'm leaning Chastain.
That's fair. I mean, to be fair though, he was running second in the All Star race when he wrecked. He won at Talladega, and he's won at a road course this year. So I don't know, but I hear what you're saying. Also, little dark horse pick maybe this week. Kevin Harvick, really good
Mm,
at Texas, especially newer Texas. Won two races here. Just keep an eye out for that. We'll see.
very good. Well, it will be a wild weekend to say the least. It'll be a wild race on Sunday, and we'll have a lot to talk about come Monday. So hopefully you'll join us on Monday as well, and hopefully you enjoy all the sporting action this weekend. Of course, we always encourage you to check us out on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And as always, appreciate you allowing us to talk some ball with y'all.
Catch y'all Monday.